Okay, so I had to talk about this. I really did. And I'll just get right into it. It's not Thomas Markle, it's Duchess of Sussex's father, Thomas Markle. You know what I mean? He's not even his own person here. Moves back to the US in his bid to walk again. Now, I went over this in a couple of videos. I can't, honestly, no one really watches them. I don't really know where I posted them, but let me give you a quick overview. I did a breakdown of everything on Grok because I know what I used to work in the O&P community. I've had ABC certification more than once. I have a lot of training on this, and every year in Chicago, I think it's called the Midwest ONP conference, and it's at the Hilton down there, which has like supposedly the longest bar in the U.S. or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's still true. But I used to do that every year, and then I used to take the doctors to dinner or a group. I'd take a group every year, and it was pretty much fun. But okay, so I know this community. I've sold to them. It's a difficult bunch. At the time I did it, which was kind of in the early twos, where I was really involved. So we're going back a while, but my point is, a lot of the guys that were doing a lot of the leg fittings and stuff, many of them were former veterans, Vietnam veterans, and I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. But I worked with these people, and it's a weird community when you lose a limb like that. It's and you can't really pretend to know what it's like, because unless you've actually had an amputation, you don't. But I've worked with many amputation patients, not only in the time I'm describing, but when when I was working with certain products, and many patients that have amputations had them because of an accident. And motorcycle accidents, frequent, where other bones are broken, and you need to get that prosthesis fit, and you need to get whatever bone it's going into healed up before you can start to work with a prosthesis. So it could be healing up the tibia. That's not the case with Thomas Markle. He had his leg chopped off because, well, let's just lay the cards on the table. This sounds mean, but just medically speaking, he was in poor health. Or let me just put it another way, the way I put it, he didn't take care of himself. Let's take a look at it another way. Could it be that he stopped taking care of himself because of the shit that went down with Meghan? I'll give him the benefit of doubt. It could have been too much for him to take, and it could have made him feel embarrassed. It could have made him feel depressed. He didn't live in the US. The whole heart thing, we went over that. I could redo the whole entire Piers Morgan interview again. I could pop that up here. I did that back in 2018. That was fun. Those days on YouTube were a blast. It took me like honestly under a minute to load a video and get things going. Now it takes, I have to run back and check, and it's because of YouTube. It's no fun. It's like either You wanted comments or you didn't. Now it's what kind of comment moderation do you want? Do you want any of this use? Do you want that? What is, I mean, it just goes on and on. All right, so let's cut to the bull. That's my monologue. At one point in time, Tom Sr. did have a stint put in. That's it. It's pretty common because he had, occlusion. Obviously, he had a clot. He had why can't I think of the word? Anyway, okay, so he has poor circulation. We don't know exactly what he was doing. I assume he's on blood thinners. Those can cause problems too. The big one they like to use in hospitals right now is Eliquis. With I was put on that because I didn't know it because no one explained it to me. But you could throw a clot in your pelvis if you have a pelvic injury and you have internal bleeding. But I had a head injury, and frankly, I thought I was coming back. But lately, it's just like, we have had 7 months of crap ass weather, and I'm trying to get it going again here. But here we go. So, Tom, I knew this was coming. I could have told you. Well, I did tell you. I said, this is going to happen. Okay. I don't know if her name is Rio. I went and did a bunch of searches on Grok and stuff. There is no proof or information that is released concerning her being licensed as an RN. I don't think she is. I think she's an aide or a caregiver. But I mean, all you have to do is watch 90 Day Fiance to know that, yeah, okay, so you have this big patient that comes in. He's not attractive. He weighs about 300 pounds. Don't tune out. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm just giving you the facts. He's huge. He's fat. I mean, he's got about a 100-pound abdomen alone, if not even more. He carries his weight in his middle, in his gut, just like his daughter, Meghan. Short legs. I can't tell. Meghan does weird stuff to her body and wears weird clothes, but she has a weird looking body, and I hate saying it. Huh. I think we know that. If she keeps herself super skinny and in super good shape, she's going to look okay, and the clothes are going to look okay on her. But I tell you, she's got the kind of body that if you gain 3 to 5 pounds, man, you are going to look different. I have a body like that too, but it's nothing like Meghan's. She is just, she does not, okay. And this is for the roles that she's in too. She's never going to be the archetype. Speaking of which, I saw a commercial on TV here advertising Archwell Healthcare, which I think is an insurance program you can go on, ARCHWELL. But the archetype that she's going to be in line for isn't going to be the tall, svelte beauty. Isn't going to be. I'm trying to think of an actress right now. I mean, she's just too short and too thick. And then plus with all, she's got weird hair, skin, and beside the point, at this point, Meghan Markle is going to be 45 years old in 3 months' time. Basically, her birthday is at the beginning of August. You have May to June, June to July, July to August, right? because this is going to move fast. So what is she going to do for her 45th birthday? Like, is she going to have turning 45? I mean, she is like officially over the hill. Not really, but the way she looks and handles herself and carries herself puts her in that category. You know, I mean, at 45 years old, women can be perfect, and good looking. And, um, but she's just not in that category. She doesn't fit, she just doesn't pass it, and that's why she's not popular as an actress. Plus, her personality is really difficult. So, I guess my point is there is a good possibility that Tom at one point in time had a good relationship with this girl, but I think that her brain snapped, Meghan's did, because at some point she was doing okay, and she marries this guy, and then she dumps him, and then she gets involved in a crowd where she is, using her sexuality, and it's very possible using sex as a tool to further herself. Meghan Markle. But now she's past, this is what happens. She's kind of past that stage. She's kind of not there anymore. Okay. So let's read this article. And then I kind of wrote down some points I wanted to talk about. And then we'll close it out. I don't know. Some of you guys like the longer articles. I don't know. Or like, see, I can't, I tell you, okay, it's just, yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the morning too, but I wanted to do this. I really did. The Duchess of Sussex says, see what I'm saying? Again, they make it about Meghan. You know what I'm saying? They make it about her, which, I mean, if you're Tom, and let's lay the cards on the table. We just had the king here. And yes, I've done some videos. I thought it was an incredibly successful visit. If you want to make a comparison, which is kind of hard to do, you'd compare like the Middletons to the Markles. Okay, because both sons of the king. But I don't even think of Harry as being the son of the king anymore, because I just don't even think of him as being part of the royal family. And I definitely don't think she is. It was the wrong move for her to leave the UK. She can dance around her chicken coop and put posts on Instagram. No one thinks of her as a royal. You have to be reminded. But frankly, I think the only person that thinks that is, I mean, I don't put her in the same category as, like anyone else in the royal family right now. But if you want to make the comparison, I doubt that, okay, this is hard to do because I doubt the king, if Tom Markle was on good terms and all that, I doubt Thomas would have hooked up with the king on this visit. This was strictly a state visit. This was a visit as, I guess you'd call him head of state. Some people in the UK would not. Okay. So if you're looking at conservative, traditional patriotism, he's head of state. Trump is head of state here. He basically has been a figure in this country like for a long time. So it's not about that though. But we can do the visit with the king. I'm still kind of collecting my thoughts on that. I think it was amazing. And so Meghan and this is such a difficult one. Meghan and Harry moved to the US, and they're there. They're in California. And I think that would be about 4 hour shit. That's a long flight over to the East Coast, over to DC. Um, I, you know, there would be no way for the king to really incorporate a visit to Harry, especially being on the terms they're in. They're just on shitty terms. They don't even recognize, he doesn't really recognize his son. He might give him some money, but, I think that's just guilt money. But let's lay the cards on the table. He's 81 years old. And I think he'll probably live, based on what I saw, at least another 10 years. So by then, George is going to be the most eligible bachelor on the planet. And, Harry will be, Harry. Okay. So let's talk about Tom. So again, let's read the article. The Duchess of Sussex's estranged father returned to the U.S. from the Philippines. So Tom, I'm going to just do it my way. Tom Markle returned to the U.S. He just had his leg amputated a few months ago. So he's 81. He nearly died. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'm not trying to diminish it, but a lot of people have these blood clots going on in the country all the time now. But this is not like, okay, he nearly died. It wasn't like, well, whatever. You can say that. They're saying he nearly died. Okay. Because he had a blood clot in his thigh, blocked the supply of blood to his foot. Okay. He moved to Cebu. It would have been oil. Well, whatever. I don't know. If the clot would have thrown and hit his heart and lungs and shit, yeah, he would have been gone. Clot in his, okay, whatever. Okay. Blocked the supply. Yeah, okay. He had a clot in his leg. He moved to Cebu last year to start a life away from the constant drama surrounding his rift with Meghan and Harry. I kind of took it like it was because Trump was inaugurated and he wanted to live a life of peace, but he wasn't in the US. He was living in Mexico. So I don't quite get this. But now he moved. You see what I'm saying? They change it all the time. The retired Hollywood lighting director has now moved back home. Okay, so he lived in Mexico for like 10 years, but now he moved back home as he wants to be fitted with state-of-the-art prosthetic limb and be closer to the family. As a person that sells to medical devices, I can tell you right now, he is going to get the exact same state-of-the-art. Where is he going to get this money from? I thought he was poor. Believe me, the U.S. has bases in the Philippines and doctors there. The technology is there, and it doesn't matter if he's there in Philippines or here. I've already done all the research. He can get the same quality limb. It just is going to cost about 1/8 the cost over there. I can guarantee it. And the level of care would be better. I had a broken everything, and I'm in the hospital, and I get almost die of an infection, really almost die, because I had sepsis and MRSA. And I was on my way out, man. I laid there for 4 days and I didn't know what was going on. I was completely out of it. I was like sort of unconscious. So, chances are he'll end up getting an infection and be back in the hospital over here. Watch for that next, because that's just the way medical care here is in the US right now. So it says be closer to family. Be closer to who? To family. Here's where we get dramatic. Okay, so he moved with Tom Markle, his son, who was his caregiver, who apparently no longer is. That gig lasted a few months or a year or whatever in the Philippines. Tom Markle goes into a hospital with these health problems. He is known as Meghan Markle, i.e., Prince Harry's wife, the son of Princess Diana's wife, or the wife of the son of Princess Diana. So this woman knows. Oh my God, I get to take care of him. Here's my meal ticket out of this hellhole. Or everybody perceives living in the US better. I know, okay. And it is. Even though it's tough here, you know. But he specifically went there for a better life, and now he's coming back a couple months later. Why? You know, it didn't work out that way, did it, Tom? And he wasn't even living here anyway. He was in Mexico. So why doesn't the Daily Mail say that? Is he moving back to Mexico? Is he moving here? I bet he'll be back in the hospital because he might get an infection, because I don't see things. Okay. If they start tinkering with that leg in a hospital here, ugh. So she's an aide. Let's say she's an aide or a caregiver at the hospital. This guy comes in. She gets to know him. He's probably being flirtatious with her because he went there specifically looking for love and a new life, right? In a kinder, gentler world, as HW would say. So this chick latches onto him. You know, she's assigned to his room or his floor or whatever. She latches onto him and she's like, this is my ticket out of here. And if she's really devious in thinking, which we don't know her, this thought has to cross your mind. No one is this pure of heart. Wow. I could be the stepdaughter of Meghan Markle. Which is true. Technically, that is true. She's 41. Meghan is 45. That's another thing. Do you guys find it a little weird that Tom left the US or left Mexico well, he was living in South America. Okay, right? Mexico is considered South? Oh, God. I'm a northerner here. So he's living in Mexico, wants to leave the US even though he's living in Mexico for a kinder, gentler world and to find love again. Latches on, ends up sick in the hospital, latches on to some aide who's like, this is my meal ticket. And here I am with the father of the daughter of Princess Diana's, who is the wife of Princess Diana's son. Wow. She's in the British royal family. She was on the balcony with the Queen, and I could be related to her. Wow. I could possibly meet the royal family. I could be in the royal circle. Okay? Think about that. Okay. And that's what I think is happening. So I'm going to just read. Tom Markle's 81 years old. Um, his birthday is July 18th, so he'll be 82. His new girlfriend, and she has children, and the only age I can find is one who is 16. I guess the rest are adults and grown. So she'll be bringing her 16-year-old kid, so Meghan will have a grandson or a granddaughter. Step grandson or granddaughter. Maybe he or she can babysit for Meghan with Doria. She's picturing herself in that house in Montecito. She's going to bridge them together. I'm just putting it out there. So, Rio, wait a minute. Canito, I apologize. She's 46 years old. Meghan is 46 or 40, 44, and she's going to be 45 in August. But she still technically would be the stepdaughter, and her kid would be her kids will be grandchildren of Meghan. Rio Canito. Rio Canito. Okay, let's keep reading. What do you guys think about this? I know I was a little bit long-winded, and the trend is to be much shorter these days, but this chick is looking at Tom as a meal ticket. Another search I did on Grok, which I know sounds sick, is I don't know how they could fall in love and then consummate a relationship. Let's lay the cards on the table. I don't know if Tom is able to, I don't know if he'll ever be able to walk again, because he is going to need a prosthesis that, if he starts walking around on that with that weight on it, and then he's only going to gain weight. He hasn't lost any since we first saw him, years ago here. So putting 250, 300 pounds on a prosthesis, mid tibia, transtibial is the type of in the middle of his tibia. It could damage the bone, but he if he's fully healed, he can be fit for a prosthesis, and who knows, probably maybe already has one lined up and is just saying that, because from what I read, he can get one for just a few $1,000s over there, and custom top of the line. So he's moving here, and then he said he wanted to start a life away from the constant drama surrounding his rift with Meghan and Harry. That's not necessarily what I remember when he left, but whatever. But now it is. You see what I'm saying? This is just a messed up story because these people are messed up. This is a messed up, like, group of people that will cop whatever they can. Now he's got this chick and he'll keep her, but how, if them consummating a relationship, I mean, she would literally need to get a Hoyer lift, because someone that size, you're not just going to lift. I don't know, like, if he's doing any therapy on his good leg, because I believe it was his left transtibial amputation that he had. Like, can he balance his weight on his right side? Can he transfer himself to a bed by himself? I'm going to say probably not, because he's already in shitty health because he didn't take care of himself. And that's a lesson, you guys. Always try to maintain some sort of an exercise program, because you need your muscles, any muscles that you have that are still working, you need to keep in order if something like this happens to you. But I can't picture him, like, even getting on the toilet alone, getting into bed alone. So then once he is in bed, does he get on top of her? Does she get on top of him? Can he get HARD? Does he need, is he, with his heart issues, he can't take, like, the little blue pill, right? He can't, not, I was going to say Prozac, but not Cialis. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, I know. So he can't necessarily take an ED drug, an erectile dysfunction drug, because it would possibly interact with heart medication. And then how are they going to support each other if he doesn't have any money? How the hell is he going to support a woman that won't be able to work here? So this makes no sense. So that tells me that he does have money. That the whole I'm poor, blah, blah, blah. Here he is traveling around the world with some chick and bringing her back here. Somehow she's in here on some kind of visa. How did she get a visa approved? Apparently, according to people I know that are trying to get permanent visas, or I, I can't talk real loud about it. But according to people I know that are trying to get citizenship here, it's very hard right now. Under the Trump administration, it's very hard, even though they like Trump. They're like, yeah, we got here and we love him, but we have to keep it low here because they are revoking visas right now. The State Department is. So once again, it becomes about Meghan and Harry. The retired lighting director. Well, I would have written that a little bit different. The 4-time Emmy Award winning lighting director that also worked for PBS and that is most likely getting a pension and benefits from PBS and from whatever union he worked for. He fell out with his daughter after he said he suffered 2 heart attacks. We've proven that was fake. But see, this shit is, once it's put out there, it's plugged into Grok and AI, unfortunately. I used to be able to get better information before AI, before Grok. I can get a lot of good info, but I was listening to a few people right now, and recently, I we could get into that too, concerning Candace Owens, who's a huge fake and phony. I know a lot of people like her. She's married to one of the richest men in the world, Well, I don't know. I don't know who the richest men in the world are right now, but he's on the same level as Nathaniel Rothschild. I'll tell you that. He was in the Bullingdon Club at Oxford, and that's George Farmer, right? So Rio sees herself as coming over here, moving to Beverly Hills, going to all the shops, and having her sugar daddy. How he's going to pay for this shit. But if you think she's coming over here for love, think again. I don't buy it for a minute. But wouldn't it be interesting if Meghan had a stepdaughter and a grandchild? I want you to think about that. That is hilarious. Can you? This. I know you guys want to diss him or don't want me to diss him, but I will, because this guy is as fucked up, if not more fucked up than her. And then her brother does a podcast. I want you to think about this. I would not, as pissed off. I had a falling out with my brother, and it wasn't that long ago. But every time he called me, I would pick up the phone. I mean, every time. And I'm like, well, he needs my help. I would never say that to him. I'm thinking it in my head. And I would think to myself, what the fuck does this son of a bitch want from me now? But would I ever say that? No, absolutely not. And yeah. But for Tom Markle Jr. to do a whole entire YouTube channel on basically bashing his sister and saying what a piece of shit she is, wow, that's not cool, you know? So this is what I'm saying. This is part of the British royal family. So she sees herself, hey man, I would actually be an extension and connected to a royal. And not only just some royal, the son of the King of England. He could be my in-law. You know? So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And now we get the same thing. If Tom Markle actually had a heart attack, he would not have been driving around for 24 hours in a car through Mexico and California. Something happened with that girl, Meghan Markle, and they did not want him over in England. Another thing about Tom Markle that kind of disappoints me is why doesn't he be more of a man? You know, to come off all the time as, oh, poor me. And then they have, no offense to a lot of you ladies, but you guys, oh, poor Thomas. Poor. I mean, there are a lot of people out there, especially if you're in shitty health, that will eat that up. That is why I have not talked about what I'm going through, you know, and trying to walk again. I walk, but I've taught myself how to walk again. But I was told I would never walk again. But yeah, I'm still a size extra small. I can, yeah, you know, or small. I bought some small Ralph Lauren joggers, and they were just too big for me. They were like a large. I'm like, oh my God, now what do I do? You know, you pay money for this stuff. But, you know, and before I was run over, I was 5'7". So yeah, I mean, it's like, but I won't like ask for pity and a GoFundMe. I mean, I might, but someday. But you know, it's real easy to fall into what I'm trying to say is if you have a bunch of people saying how sorry they feel for you, you're going to be this victim. And that's kind of like what I think he's done. So what else? Again, the usual bullshit. Um, he fell out and said he suffered 2 heart attacks now. And no, he didn't suffer any. He did in the past, but I've already proven that. If I could post those again, but they're such shitty videos, and I sound ridiculous. I just I don't know. I could I did like a 4-part video series taking apart that interview with Piers Morgan and a couple of other interviews he had where he described what happened. And by the way, does Tom Markle ever smile with his mouth open and his teeth showing? Does he have teeth? And I don't mean that to be, oh, yeah. I mean, are they rotted and decayed like the rest of his body? Or does, just asking for a friend, right? So he fell out with his daughter. We get to hear this again. So again, it's about her. He's yet to meet Harry and the grandchildren, Archie 6 and Lilibet 4. Okay. So I thought Archie was older, but whatever. I don't mean that, I thought he was 7 by now. I don't know. I want to see this kid. No, I don't believe he's a red ginger with curly hair. I think Harry puts color in his hair. I really do. I think it would be gray by now. Living with her, yeah. In your mid 40s, yeah. I don't know what he's doing to it, but it looks like shit. After having his left leg okay, so he had a transtibial amputation. Mr. Markle praised the care and compassion of the Filipino people, and now he's leaving that and he's coming back to a rat race in LA, but that's okay. Saying I would not be alive today were it not for the care I received from the wonderful doctors and nurses. They saved my life. I do believe that. I really do. Mine almost killed me. Really. Someone with my good health being in a hospital for 4 fucking months. Ugh. Well, 4 weeks of 3.5 weeks of it was in a rehab facility that looking back on it, I mean, it was, I can't describe to you how bad it was. That's all I can say. Or the feeling I had being in there. Plus, I was sick. So, no, I'm surprised that didn't kill me too, but I was just too feisty and too much of a bitch. I had a very good infectious disease doctor that saved my life. Let's just put it that way. I have no respect for the doctors that that were assigned to me because I was an emergency case. I have no respect at all. But had they not taken care of me, I would have died. So I wouldn't have even known it because when you're so out of it and you just black out, you don't know. Until you look back at it and go, oh my God. Now and you remember stuff that happened and I'm just like, oh my God. Well, they were horrible. Oh, did they fuck with me? Ah. They were playing like total mind games with me. Like they would move me from room to room and say, "We didn't move you." Oh, ugh, ugh. Withheld water from me for 4 fucking days. I'm surprised I didn't die. Really. Oh, it was 5. I can't remember what I just said. Okay. Well, it's late here. Okay, so I do believe that he did receive better care in the Philippines than he would have here. I'm just letting you know that. Weeks ago, Markle said he found love with a Filipino nurse, Rio Canedo, 46, after he was moved from the hospital to a rehab unit. This looks pretty nice, actually. It's clean, from what I can tell. He always tilts his head and never smiles. Does he have teeth? He must, because he's eating a lot here. Maybe he'll lose weight. Oh, Miss Canedo is a divorced mother of 2. Accompanied Mr. Markle to the airport for an emotional farewell. Oh, I thought she was coming with him. Okay. Hmm. The Mail on Sunday understands the pair intend to keep in touch via FaceTime. He hopes she will be able to visit him in the States soon. Okay. Woo. He credits Miss Canedo, who is just 2 years older than Meghan. Well, actually, yeah, okay. With helping him lose weight. Ah, okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. It kept saying he found love again. It's coming back to the U.S. That's weird. Okay, well, whatever. He hopes she will be able to visit him. Oh, and she will. He just needs to get her a visa. He credits her with losing weight. Okay, and gain the will to walk again. Did he yet or no? The next step is to get an electric wheelchair. Okay. Yeah. Well, trust me, I feel for the guy, but I don't know how many steps he's going to take on his own. But while the Mail on Sunday is not revealing where Mr. Markle will be living, the move puts him. Oh, believe me, we'll find out soon. The move puts him thousands of miles closer to Meghan and her family, with whom he wishes to be reconciled. He recently said, "I love Meghan and always will. I would love to meet my grandkids." This is the same exact article. I thought that he was going to get hitched or like live with this woman or have a relationship. And then we talk about Samantha. How much did she charge to have her name printed? His elder daughter, Samantha, Meghan's half sister, said Dad made the decision to come back to the U.S. for ongoing medical care. Okay. Because Medicare will pay for it here and it won't pay for it there. He will be able to get the best prosthetics here, really, on just Medicare with no supplement? And be surrounded by friends and family to support him? I thought he only has his son who. So Sammy Joe lives in Florida. Who the one that got busted for? Who does he have? What relatives does he have that he hangs out with here? I don't know. I thought he just was sitting down in a house in Mexico by himself all the time. So yeah, it'll be cheaper for him, but ugh, I already figured it. The medical system here is not good. But I'm hoping he does not get an infection. He will be able to get the breast prosthetics. Not necessarily, Sammy Joe. Have you researched it or what? Perhaps, but he could get prosthetics shipped with all the. If he has money, he could get shit shipped off. He could get stuff sent there and used there. Just trust me on that. Unless Trump or someone, there's some sort of an embargo on, not that I know of. I've sent medical equipment to the Virgin Islands. I don't know how I got away with all that. Um, anyway, I mean, I would just put it in the U.S. mail and send it like priority because they couldn't get the rep to do it, and someone would call me, and another doctor would call me, and I'd be like, yeah, okay. It was that easy too. Even though he's been through such traumatic times, haven't we all though, Sammy Joe? This has been a positive spiritual experience. Oh, 4 or 5, what was he? He was gone for a year, and now he and Sammy Joe can both have electric wheelchairs together. I refuse. I would never get one of those. You know, so I'm gonna try to get like a low profile youth bike for myself this summer because I'm using my own exercise equipment now. Yesterday I did for 62 minutes, very high intensity. And believe it or not, when you exercise like when I did, yeah, at first I thought I was maybe 50 minutes in 50, and I thought, oh boy, maybe I'm overdoing it. But the longer I keep moving, honestly, my legs are in less pain. My pelvis is in less pain. Um, so I think something to note is that it's hard for me to read this article because um, what the fuck is she? Oh, I see. Oh my god! Like, who is she kidding? You know, this comes out on. This is dated to May 2026, right? And so we have Charlotte. Oops. Who is, I mean, the spitting image of William, really, in my opinion. So that comes out the same day as Charlotte's 11th birthday. So, Tom Markle, his story came out the same day. Yeah, he's coming back. Look out. So she looks, really a lot like William, but she's only 11, so give her a couple of years and wait for her beauty to come out because it will. And will she be the next Diana? You know? So, yeah, Princess Diana. You know what the thing is with Diana? What made her so attractive was her height and her body type, which I mentioned earlier, because of the way she carried herself and had clothes on, and she would be taller than most of the women around her and look gorgeous. Now, anybody that knows the channel knows my mom was 5'10" and a half. So that height is there, but and her face, her beauty is there. But with what I'm trying to say about Diana, or trying to go in that vein here, would be the way she worked out. She took care of her health. I mean, I read that she had colonics and was into health food, and like ate just grapefruit and black coffee for breakfast, and which is good, actually good. That's a maha breakfast, which is great. I mean, I do the same a lot. But it was the way that she used her tools available to her to make herself look gorgeous, which would be like working out, getting sun, getting her hair done. Enough already, ladies, with this long hair hanging there. It is glamorous to have a hairstyle. I'm not talking about a kid. This is very natural for Charlotte. But I mean, with Diana, she took what the best that was available to her with regard to her physical features, and she played them up. And in today's world, and this is the reason I'm so glad I don't go on camera. In today's world, to be a podcaster, you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have boob implants, you have to be showing cleavage, you have to have hair extensions, you have to be Botox, you can't have one wrinkle on your face, you have to have everything pulled tight, you have to have the false eyelashes, the Botox, the lip injections. Enough already, guys, really. So when you do have a once in a lifetime situation like a Princess Diana phenomenon, that's what, like I said, once in a lifetime. Meghan Markle can do all the shit she wants. She can touch up all the pictures she wants. She can pose till kingdom come. And here, even just in this one, Daily Mail Royals. Why is there a picture of Meghan Markle from 2018 as the lead here? Who pays the Daily Mail for that kind of PR? Here's the future. Where is the king? So, his speech, I did began to break it down. I think it was a huge success in that. Okay, how do I put this? There were a lot of people his speech was in Congress was very good for him. There were a few things that I didn't like in there, politically speaking, and it was kind of a political speech, if you want my opinion, even though it shouldn't have been, but it was. I thought Queen Elizabeth II was much better when she came here in 91. And during that time, it was much more of an historical time in that, the wall coming down and perestroika going on in Russia, where it was being restructured. And it was an amazing time in history in the world. And it was a change in the world that was going on. Unfortunately, we're back to the same old shit. But I think I'll end it there. Give me your comments. Again, Meghan's going to be 45, and I want to see, I guess, now I'll change my whole video now. I'd like to see Rio come here. I didn't think she'd be able to just come over here. I don't know. I read that somewhere, or I read into it because I was just skimming by. So, um, it's very exciting. You have Charles over there. I think everybody channels someone, right? I still think this is a body double. I'm telling you that right now. uh, hmm. Yeah, I thought it was. I know I made a mistake over. So anyway, it doesn't matter. And I know I still think that it is very possible that there is a body double being used by Melanie. I remember back at the end of the year, around New Year's, there was at Mar-a-Lago there was this the new Melania, right? And I'm like, the new Melania, what the fuck are you talking about? And shows her sitting at a table. And I'm like, looks the same to me. And then I'm looking at her and I'm looking at her body type, and it's bullshit. Melissa Melania gained 30 pounds and let her boob implants sink, which is doubtful. But okay. I thought we'd get something about his tour here. Okay, well, we can't even get that, can we? The cheeky moment, Kate Middleton broke a royal rule by giving Prince William a playful love tap. Huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Let me know what you guys think.